You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
What did you just say?
I said one woman's quest to clean up the planet one butt at a time.
I thought you said that.
Two T's.
We'll have details of that on the way, but guess what? It's Friday.
We have made it to Friday, people. It is Friday, February 16th, the last day of the week, heading into the weekend. We have a beautiful forecast straight ahead.
Yeah.
Got some nice weather this weekend. I am loving it. Maybe beach time.
Good morning, John.
Absolutely. Good morning. I feel very justified in it being Friday today for some reason. Yeah. It seems like we worked hard all week long to get to here.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and you can almost smell that Saturday in your nose, can't you?
Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
I think Stephanie's perfume.
Pretty sure. We have only one box checked for your morning commute this morning, and that's the fog. It's not really thick around here, but the potential does exist, particularly along the coast in Manatee County. It's out there in the Gulf waters. So far, not a big deal over land, but the potential's there, so we're going to mark it. We'll look for 60s to low 70s for your commute to work. On the way home, warm once again, mid-70s by the time we hit the evening hours. As I mentioned, we don't have much in the way of a problem right now with current fog conditions. Visibility above 10 miles most everywhere, but the potential's there for the next couple of hours. We'll look for an 81 by 3 p.m. for our daytime high, get down to 72 by this evening, and the overnight low about 65 again tomorrow morning, a chance of fog in the morning. But the weekend forecast looks great, and we'll talk about that coming up in a few.
All right, the deal. Let's check the roads right now. Nothing much to report so far today in Manatee County. We'll go live there in a moment, though. There is an issue there involving some construction to take note of at I-75 and State Road 64 at the northbound exit ramp. It's actually closed to State Road 64, so be aware of that. We'll also skip back to Bee Ridge Road in a moment there. But now we'll check South County, the 681 bypass. Some congestion there as you pass by Honore and head toward 41. Farther south, we'll check that. Little blip at 41 northbound toward Nokomis, and our final map to the south down by the Charlotte County line shows all clear at 502.
Well, if your daily routine includes time spent in any kind of rush hour traffic, you know that there are some hot spots around the Suncoast, ones that are more risky to navigate through and always seem busy. All this week, our special report, top 5 most dangerous intersections.
And today it's number 1, right back where she's been most of the week. Marla Spence is live at 14th Street West and 53rd with the most dangerous intersection in the area. Marla?
Our countdown, and today we are at the number 1 dangerous intersection on the Suncoast. It's considered to be 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West. Now, what makes this intersection a bit different from other intersections is that this intersection has a higher severity crash rate than all the other intersections we've been mentioning all week. Now, this one, 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West, has a crash severity rate of a 2.0. We mentioned earlier this week the 5th dangerous intersection, which was University Parkway and Lockwood Ridge Road, and that just had a severity crash rate of just a 1.8. Now, we're also told that about 50,000 cars can go through this intersection alone, but that is the highest number of cars that can exceed through this intersection compared to yesterday's intersection where about 80,000 cars could actually go through that intersection. Now, some believe only cars and drivers are impacted by the dangers this intersection comes with, but so are pedestrians.
I try and cross the street many times in the morning. I go to a restaurant down the road to get the bus, right? The people, not all of them, but a good percentage of them, in a big hurry. And if you let them go first, they're going to run you over. That's how bad it is.
Now, drivers are advised to pay close attention to the road, as well as bikers and, like you just heard, that pedestrians. So pedestrians and bikers, drivers need to be on the lookout for those people as well. Now, we're also told that more than 32 cars just in 2016 alone were involved in accidents at this intersection. At 5:30, we're going to be breaking down more numbers for you, as well as more people who we've spoke to in this area about what should be done in order to make this intersection a bit more safer. Reporting live in Manatee County, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Marla.
An emotional tribute overnight for the victims of the Florida school massacre as disturbing new details emerge about the suspect's past.
Thousands gathered for a candlelight vigil in Parkland to honor the 17 people killed by a shooter who reportedly told investigators that he was hearing voices. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest from Parkland.
Overnight, thousands of people coming together in disbelief and grief.
For the rest of my days, this will always be engraved in my mind, and I don't think it'll ever go away.
Leaning on each other for support as the names of all 17 victims were read out loud.
Martin Duque, Alyssa Al-Haddad.
Some in the crowd chanting, "No more guns," over the cries of friends and family. Many of the victims, teenage students. One in the school's marching band, another on his way to college on a swim scholarship. Some just in their first year of high school.
And just knowing that that his seat, it won't be filled next time I enter that class, it's heart-wrenching.
For the survivors, the moments that were almost their last replaying over and over in their minds.
I was scared that I was going to be next. I didn't know what else to do. I just kind of froze.
Lexi Gendron tells us the shooter opened fire in her classroom. Not everyone survived.
I'm thankful to be here, but at the same time, I'm so hurt to know that a lot of people I know are gone.
Police say the gunman confessed to the shooting rampage, telling them he heard voices directing him to carry out the attack.
Some of the things that come to mind are very, very disturbing.
Sources tell ABC News this was his Instagram account. He's seen here holding a pistol, and another he's holding a large knife. Authorities now digging deeper into the suspect's past.
The man who told authorities about a threat the suspected gunman posted on YouTube saying he was going to shoot up a school, that tipster tells ABC News he spoke with the FBI last year and also told YouTube. The FBI says they're now looking into it. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Parkland, Florida.
The Manatee County Sheriff's Office say they have received several complaints about a disconcerting message on social media. A Snapchat message is being sent out with the image of a partially masked man holding what appears to be an AR-15 rifle. On top of the picture, the words "Round 2, Florida tomorrow." Well, it turns out a teenager in South Carolina was arrested for that message. He is now in custody this morning.
After Wednesday's school shooting, the topic of gun control is back in the hot seat. Gun violence protests took place yesterday afternoon in downtown Sarasota. About 100 people gathered on US 41 at the Bayfront, holding signs pushing for better gun control laws. Sarasota's chapter of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence organized that protest. Now, those who participated say they want change and want it now, especially with the school shooting in Broward County.
What I'm hoping happens out here by us is a raising of awareness. Among other things, we have more people now who will be making calls to legislators, and Sarasota sees us, and that's important. They need to know there are a lot of us out here who care about this issue.
Now, this group gets together in the same spot every Thursday afternoon from 4 to 5 o'clock. They plan on being at the same location at the same time next Thursday. And ABC 7 is closely following the latest developments on the tragic shooting. For the latest on the story and other breaking news, as well as your weather and your traffic, just download our news app. Just head online to the App Store and search for ABC 7 Sarasota.
A giant mega storm that was once as wide as the Atlantic Ocean is now gently fizzling out 3 billion miles away from Earth on the planet Neptune. These images from the Hubble telescope show the storm has been shrinking since it was first detected 3 years ago. Scientists thought it would head to Neptune's equator and break up, creating a spectacular outburst of cloud activity. But instead of going out with a bang, the dark vortex surprised researchers by drifting to the South Pole, where it is dying with just a whimper. In South America, a 9-year-old girl who fell into a pit of clay is now safe thanks to some quick-thinking first responders. The girl was playing near a ceramic factory when she fell and was buried in clay. Police and bystanders, as you see, dug through the clay with their hands, not sure exactly where she had fallen in. But as you see, they found her after a few minutes of digging. They got her breathing again, and she was rushed to the hospital for some fast medical attention. Happy ending there. A woman in California calls herself the butt lady, but it's not because she has a lot of junk in the trunk. There, I said it. Sally Dolly has been picking cigarette butts off the street for more than 3 years. She's on a mission to pick up every cigarette butt she can find.
I don't like seeing them down there.
This week, she swept her 1 millionth cigarette butt. She says she's hoping to inspire others to change their way they dispose of their smoking habits.
I love this. We've all seen those places where just a beautiful area to rest or hang out, and you see it littered with cigarette butts. So good for her for taking things into her own hands and cleaning that up.
I hate when I see drivers throw them out the window.
I know.
Why'd you do that?
I know. Seems like a better way to handle that stuff. Take care of our earth.
That's right. Up next, we'll have the first alert to traffic and John's weather for the weekend and the latest on the immigration bill that will affect millions of undocumented children, what the next steps are on Capitol Hill.
And coming up a little later in the hour, two of the most charitable people in the world are now rethinking how and where they donate in the country. That story, plus John's great weekend forecast and your first alert traffic.
Should see a high of 81 degrees later on today. Plenty of sunshine on this Friday. It's 5:11 right now. Good morning. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7.
Join ABC 7 at the all-new 2018 edition of Circus Sarasota. Ovation under the big top at Nathan Benderson Park behind the mall at UTC. Friday, February 9th through Sunday, March 4th. All opening weekend tickets are 20% off, courtesy of ABC 7. To purchase your discount tickets, visit circusarts.org, the Circus Sarasota box office at the big top, or call 941-355-9805.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC 7 is seeking a director of newscasts and studio productions. Newscast directing experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're looking at our Cortez Bridge webcam here, and if we put it into motion, you can notice down in the last few frames as we get closer to our current hour, you'll see a little bit more of a haze around some of the lights. That's because just to the north of us we have some sea fog out in the Gulf waters, and there's certainly the potential that that could sink a little further to the south. Just need to cool things off a few more degrees. The winds are not terribly conducive for bringing northern sea fog further south. In fact, they're in the opposite direction of that, but there are other kind of aspects to the atmosphere that could induce that southward motion. So we're just going to play it by ear and see. Fog forecasting is a tough thing, no doubt about it, but it is out there and it does have the potential to create some limited visibilities, particularly on north-facing coastline of Manatee County. 63 degrees, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch at 64, 64 in Sarasota, 65 in Venice, 64 in Mayaca City. Looking at a temperature of 64, a dew point of 64, 100% relative humidity out there, and consequently, that's the reason that we could see some of that fog form. calm winds right now, but they've been generally out of the southeast. Fog forecast doesn't show a whole lot going on this morning, but the satellite view does show a little bit of sea fog out here in the Gulf waters, maybe some low-hanging clouds. So the potential exists. It's pretty close to us. It's just not over us right now. By the time we get to 7 o'clock this morning, we'll look at a temperature of about 65, unchanging too much. But like yesterday, after the low clouds and fog burns off, we'll certainly see a jump in temperature up to about 78 degrees with a little bit of sunshine out there. 81 as we head into the afternoon. Another very warm day here on the Suncoast. And then as we head into the evening, down into the 70s. Should be beautiful this evening. A nice sunset. A little bit of fair weather clouds reflecting those setting suns. Should be nice. Hour by hour forecast looks like this. 63 Sarasota, 65 Venice, 61 Parrish as we head into the 7 o'clock hour. Maybe a little bit more fog around, perhaps patchy, but it'll be out there. And then as we head into noon, everything clears out. Sunshine appears. Temperatures boost up into the upper 70s. And then as we head into the afternoon, of course, we start getting into the 80s in some locations. And then tomorrow morning, we'll watch for that fog to develop after midnight, and when you wake up tomorrow morning, we could actually see a little bit of a sea fog issue. Forecast looking at a little bit of rain shower activity to the north of us, and that's all associated with a frontal boundary that has zero chance of actually getting to us. The high pressure ridge stays as our dominant weather feature, bringing us a southeasterly wind eventually as it sinks a little further to the south, even a southwesterly wind. With that southwesterly wind, our dew point values increase a little bit, and that's the reason I think we have a better chance of fog tomorrow morning, it looks like. We have across the region a west wind coming in at about 10 to 15. We'll look for that to be smooth conditions on bay and inland waters. Nice boating weather all weekend long. 133 high tide, low tide at 7:11. And the forecast for the week ahead, 81 today, 81 tomorrow, 81 on Sunday. You get the idea. As we head into next work week, we'll start boosting the temperatures up just a little bit. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look outside here. First alert traffic. If you're headed into Manatee County, those roads are actually looking pretty good today. Just one small little blip on 301 and State Road 70. Now, we do have one accident to tell you about right there. There is an accident if you're heading northbound I-75 and Fruitville Road. That's exit 210. There is an accident right there, so keep a heads up on that one. That is something to look out for. And then another blip that we have to tell you about, too. The exit ramp at 64 is closed. If you're coming off of 75, the exit ramp northbound is closed at exit 75, so there are some big traffic things to note out there. Otherwise, the rest of traffic isn't running too bad out there. A little bit of a slowdown out there on Clark Road. Starting to see some congestion is there as well. We go a little bit farther south. Not too much going on out there. Those roads to the south of us, if you're heading toward Venice and Osprey, those are looking pretty smooth out there today. And a little farther south, just a little blip out there, a little slowdown by Tuscola Boulevard on 41 to keep an eye out for. And that at 5:18 is your first alert traffic. Well, after months of negotiations, senators failed to pass a bipartisan proposal to determine the future of millions of young undocumented immigrants.
As Mary Maloney tells us, the path forward now in immigration reform is anything but clear.
The debate over immigration reform and what to do about millions of young undocumented immigrants back at square one.
It's been a disappointing week.
A much-anticipated bipartisan Senate proposal failed to get the 60 votes necessary Thursday.
The motion is not agreed to.
The bill would have paired a pathway to citizenship for nearly 2 million undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children with $25 billion in border security. It was one of 4 amendments that suffered the same fate. One of those was backed by the White House, a 4-pillar solution that included cuts to family-based migration and would have ended the diversity lottery program. But even if the bipartisan bill had passed, it would have been dead by the time it reached President Trump's desk. Trump called the bill a total catastrophe, tweeting that voting for this amendment would be a vote against law enforcement and a vote for open borders. Senators on both sides of the aisle shared frustrations.
This is a decision the Senate is going to regret.
The immigration demagogues win again on the left and the right.
What happens next? There's no clear answer, but there are signs of hope in the halls of Congress that a deal could still be worked out.
I think we shouldn't leave town without taking back up several of these amendments and reconsidering them.
The only way I see a solution is for the president to grab the reins back and lead himself and get Democrats and Republicans in a room, focusing on strong border security and a fair solution for DACA.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
DACA recipients and supporters are making a 15-day march from New York to Washington now. They're trying to draw attention to their desire for permanent government protection. It's called the Walk to Stay Home. The March 5th deadline to end the program still stands, although 2 federal judges have temporarily blocked the move. The walk began yesterday. The march will end with a protest in Washington, D.C. The world's top philanthropists are rethinking their work in America. Bill and Melinda Gates say they disagree with the president on issues including foreign aid, taxes, and immigration. So now they're studying poverty in the U.S. in ways they've never done before.
We are not seeing the mobility out of poverty in the same way in the United States as it used to exist. So that is where you are born makes an enormous difference, and where you are as you grow up and become a young teen makes a huge difference on whether you actually have a chance of getting out of poverty.
The Gates don't have a plan yet to combat poverty. They are looking at solutions in the local, state, and national government levels. 5:21 right now.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast. If you've got an Apple iPhone, there is something you need to know about the latest update. We're going to have it for you in Tech Bites coming up in just a few minutes.
And now you can bicycle up the side of buildings? We'll show you how. But first, a peek at an unusual sight in Manatee County, a bumper on the road. This is what our live system is for.
Right, exactly. This is part of our special report this week, the top 5 most dangerous intersections on the Suncoast. And this is something that happened at number 1, 14th Street West, and then 53rd Avenue.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Please join us in welcoming the 2 newest additions to the Lincoln lineup, our flagship luxury sedan, the 2018 Lincoln Continental, and the totally redesigned 2018 Lincoln Navigator, featuring 450 horsepower, 10-speed transmission, and many best-in-class features. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment, every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Thousands of award-winning Honda SUVs are on sale from $189 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You've got to see these SUVs. Get a surprisingly spacious 2018 HR-V, $189 a month, or step up to Pilot for $289 a month with available seating for 8. Plus, we have Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, the 2018 CR-V, and Ridgeline, a Car and Driver's 10 Best, all on sale for up to $38.05 less than the competition at your local Honda dealer.
All right, in consumer news this morning, scientists at Boston Dynamics released new video of quite possibly the creepiest doorman you have ever seen. It's their Spot mini robotic dog with an arm. It may seem pretty simple, seeing as how most humans, come on, we do this all the time, but it's actually a complex series of steps to have a robot do it in this case. Honestly, I feel like I've seen something like this on Black Mirror on Netflix, but spoiler alert, it never ends well for the humans. Oh, that is just some strange video. And speaking of dogs, happy Chinese New Year. China's Spring Festival starts today as they welcome the Year of the Dog, and they're doing it in high-tech digital style. Check this out. It is an incredible light show that really takes over the city's skyline. It's all centered around Canton Tower. More than 700 beam lamps and 30 laser lamps light up the sky. A 90-foot dog statue, look at this thing, was also created, all to mark the Year of the Dog. And finally, Apple is sounding the alarm about a major flaw with the latest operating system.
ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple is admitting a serious new problem with the latest version of its iPhone operating system.
Sending or receiving a specific Indian language character in a message will cause the device to crash. And even after restarting, texting apps are rendered unusable. Apple is reportedly working on a fix. A new study on dating apps shows a lot of Tinder users get rid of the app quickly.
It found 32% of people delete the app on the same day they download it. The study also says the most popular day to use dating apps is Thursday. Thirsty people on Thursday. And how's this for climbing your way to the top? The Vical, short for vertical bicycle, will allow you to skip both the stairs and the elevator.
The idea is still in the concept stage. All that's needed now is an investor with deep pockets to take it to the next level. Next level.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Next level.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Finish Quantum.
Why do the best things in life create so much mess? More nights in, more gooey, cheesy dishes. More pie plates. More bake sales. So many good times, so many dirty dishes. Tackle them all with Finish Quantum. Even on the toughest messes, Finish gives you an unbeatable clean. And now get 25% more loads than Cascade Platinum. The choice is clear. Switch to Finish Quantum.
Feel that tingle of a cold sore coming on? Only Abreva can heal it in as little as 2.5 days when used at the first sign. Abreva starts to work immediately to block the virus and protect healthy cells. Abreva acts on it so you can too.
This is food made to sit down for. Slow down for. Put the phone away and use a knife and fork for. And with Panera Catering, it's food worth sharing. Panera, food as it should be.
It's time to take a road trip.
Alabama's got 100 road trips. And if you love the sun, you're gonna love Mobile, where Mardi Gras is king, and the accommodations will make you feel like royalty. You can take a little drive, explore Dauphin Island, or explore the past. We're talking the USS Alabama. Check out these big guns. Alabama's got 100 road trips. Plan yours at alabama.travel.
Which one you gonna take?
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new animal adventure. And this week, we're taking a look back at some of our favorite stories. A hospital dedicated strictly to helping sea turtles, how this facility is making a difference. And you won't find this species of owl up in a tree. He's a burrowing owl, and he digs tunnels underground. Join us this week on ABC 7.
One of the motivating factors for me to become a Big Brother was that I was mentored as a youth. And it was important for me to kind of pass forward the things that were kind of given to me. It's really just as simple as getting to know a kid. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have any of those other things. You just have to be willing to spend a little time and help mold some young person's life.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Get breaking news, plus first alert, weather, and traffic focused on where you live. Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast today, new details about the accused school shooter and the debate over gun control hit center stage again.
All week long, we've been counting down the top 5 dangerous intersections on the Suncoast. Today, we're at the #1 danger zone at 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West.
It sounds like it. Also, high honors for a local Girl Scout. We'll tell you why she'll be honored tomorrow, this half hour on Good Morning Suncoast.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning to you, TGIF. It is Friday, February 16th. I'm Stephanie Webb.
I'm Ray Collins. Yes, we have made it to Friday together.
It's a long week.
It really has been.
It feels like a long week.
64 degrees on the outside. Another warm day in the way, John Scalzi.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we are not going to break this string of abnormally warm weather that we've had all month long, really, as we head into the last couple of weeks. We're looking at temperatures across the region that are generally very mild, even to start off the morning. Pickup time for the kids at the school bus stops. Look for 69 degrees, rain-free conditions mild, but maybe a little bit of patchy fog might be developing. Terracea, Holmes Beach, Anna Marie Island, all guys over there that should watch out for the potential of some developing fog over the course of the next hour or so. 81 drop-off time should be nice this afternoon. Right now, visibilities are okay along the coastline, coming in at about 10 miles, but back out the map just a little bit, and to the north of us, there is dense fog up along the Nature Coast, stretching down into Pinellas County, actually. And that fog, all part of some sea fog blowing on shore that's kind of expansive just offshore. That could sink south with time and impact our region, particularly the northern part of Manatee County. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that throughout the morning show, and we'll take a look at some very warm weekend temperatures coming up in just a few.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads, a little blip there at State Road 70, the eastbound lane around Lockwood Ridge Road. Be aware of that. Next, we're going to show you a issue at Fruitville Road. There's been an accident already today in the northbound lane at exit 210, so be aware of that if you're heading north on 75, a little blip there at Fruitville. And then farther north at 64, the northbound exit ramp is closed due to an ongoing state construction project there, so very animated icon there, love that. Farther to the south, all clear so far in that section of our region. And our final 2 maps checking out all clear at 5:33 on this Friday morning.
Well, when it comes to that rush hour traffic, we all know a few roads and intersections to avoid in the mornings. Now, some are just downright risky to drive through. Our special report this week, the top 5 most dangerous intersections, continues.
Our Marla Spence is at the #1 most dangerous intersection. That is 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West in Bradenton. Marla.
Yeah, Ray and Stephanie, this is a bumper of a car on the corner of what's considered to be one of the most dangerous. In fact, it's the #1 dangerous on the Suncoast, which is 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West. Now, this intersection is just miles away from our second dangerous intersection at Cortez Road West and also 14th Street. About 50,000 cars can drive through this intersection daily, and that's about 30,000 less daily than Cortez Road West. But what makes this the #1 intersection is the fact that the roads are a bit more smaller than Cortez Road West, allowing fewer cars to go through this intersection. And that's actually 50,000 is actually the capacity of the cars that can actually go through this intersection. Now, pedestrians are also saying they're having an issue alongside drivers and also people on their bicycle. We spoke to one pedestrian in this area early, and he says that he is a bit frustrated when he comes into this area daily. He stops by the Wawa on this corner, and he says this is where he gets breakfast, and he says once he gets out here, he's a bit frustrated by drivers and the way that they drive and not allow him to use his right-of-way into the gas station.
I've got almost hit too many times on this corner. It's only but for the grace of God watching over me that I wasn't hit. But like I said, it's not everybody, but there's certain few. They're all in a big hurry. If they left a little bit earlier for work, they wouldn't be in such a big hurry.
like you heard that pedestrian say, if people left a bit earlier, then they wouldn't be in the rush. We spoke to FHP as well as the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization, and they also say that people should plan their trips ahead of time to make sure they know where they're going, and if they see that there is a traffic delay, they can take other routes around a specific intersection, including this #1 hotspot, which is 14th Street West and 53rd Avenue West. Reporting live in Manatee County, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, nice job this week, Marla. Be careful out there. You can always check traffic on our app. You can find our app at the App Store under WWSB or My Suncoast. Now to the latest on that school shooting at a Broward County high school.
It's the third worst in U.S. history, and not only has it impacted the 3,000 students and staff at the school, but it's really sparked a new gun control debate all across the country.
The owners of the gun store where the alleged gunman bought an AR-15 rifle last year say they followed all laws when selling him the weapon. An attorney for the store says that Nicholas Cruz was mentally ill, but that didn't show up in his background check.
Someone who was not put into any sort of database, and someone who was essentially allowed to go unchecked before walking into this store and purchasing a firearm.
Cruz is being held without bond. The sheriff says he has confessed to the attack. He's been charged with 17 counts of murder. The FBI has admitted it received a tip about him just last year.
Well, some survivors from the mass shooting in Las Vegas 4 months ago are saying that they're experiencing PTSD after learning about the shooting in South Florida.
ABC's Tom George spoke to some survivors and a psychologist who says the entire nation could be experiencing PTSD.
This is our lives, and now it's their lives.
4 months later, for 1 October survivors, it's still hard.
You think that it can't happen to you, but it will.
Slowly, they've made progress, but yesterday, after hearing about the Florida school shooting,
I was completely back to when it happened.
she broke down in the middle of running errands.
And I sat in the corner of their bathroom, shaking and crying and throwing up for approximately 2 hours.
It's not just survivors being triggered. The numbness many feel from another mass shooting can affect all of us.
Numbness is one of the first signs of PTSD.
A way of trying to make sense of what happened.
This is about almost disassociating and detaching because something that's happened is so traumatic, it's too hard for the brain to process.
Survivors say it's even harder cutting through all the noise on social media.
If I hear thoughts and prayers one more time, I just want to vomit. I hate that term.
They say one thing helping them heal is a common purpose, fighting for gun reforms.
Because we're trying to take action, we're trying to help other people, and with helping other people, we're helping ourselves.
They've also relied on support from survivors of Virginia Tech and Sandy Hook, now ready to help new members of their club of survivors united by tragedy.
Everything that we do now is going to be a foundation for Florida, and everything that Florida does is unfortunately going to be the foundation for the next.
And the lobby group Gun Owners of America says it has a solution to the mass shooting problem in America: access to more guns. The company's CEO says he supports arming teachers and administrators to prevent school shootings. In an interview with CNN's Richard Quest, he says the problem is that teachers can't defend themselves in those situations.
Over 98% of the public mass shootings in this country occur in gun-free zones, and that's why we would agree with our police officers. 81% of them polled say that the way you stop this in the schools is to arm the teachers.
In his pro-gun argument, Pratt noted that in states like Utah and Ohio, they train and arm school teachers, but he didn't offer success rates for those programs.
Less than 24 hours after the attack in Broward County, Florida's legislative leaders have a plan to give $100 million to public schools for mental health screening and services, and also boost funding for school safety programs. Lawmakers are exploring what, if anything, can be done to prevent the sale of guns to people like the suspected shooter.
What I am focusing on is making sure that people who have mental instabilities or have other mental health issues, that they don't have access to firearms.
Folks have a Second Amendment right to have a firearm to protect themselves and their family and their home, but there's nowhere in the Constitution that says that that right is unlimited.
The plan would more than double the $40 million already designated in a Senate plan for mental health funding. Under this plan, school districts as well as charter schools would have to develop mental health plans. They'll be submitted for review to the state. The mental health plans will have to include a partnership with at least one local community program or agency to provide prevention, diagnosis, and treatment services for students.
Well, Senator Marco Rubio is traveling to South Florida today in the aftermath of that mass shooting. He's been criticized on social media since the shooting for accepting over $3 million from the National Rifle Association. Now, Rubio was questioned in Washington following the shooting, and he had this to say.
The challenge is not just to do something, but to do something that would work. None of the laws that have been presented here in the past would have prevented any of these attacks, including the one yesterday, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything to do.
Well, since the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting almost 6 years ago, 4 gun control laws have failed to pass. Now, 2 of those were proposed in 2013. One of them failed just last year.
In Tallahassee, a bill that would restrict the most common type of second trimester abortion is making progress in the State House. It's heading toward a vote, in fact. If passed, the measure would impose restrictions on abortion providers. The bill, however, would allow an exception when a woman's life is in danger and if no other medical procedures would suffice. Doctors who violate this law would be charged with a third-degree felony, which carries a prison term of 5 years and up to $5,000 in fines. Here is reaction now from both sides.
Why make it so much more complicated for a woman who has gone through probably an enormous amount of challenges and pain to make this decision, and then complicate her life even more?
Can we please come to some sense of humanity and respect for life, the unborn life in it, when it will not affect the mother's ability to get this abortion?
Despite plans for a vote in the House, a similar bill in the Senate has yet to reach committee, and the session ends in less than 3 weeks.
A Sarasota Girl Scout is receiving the nonprofit's highest award for her documentary on an unusual topic, veterinarians who remove cat's claws. Devin Cheeto will be honored tomorrow with the Girl Scouts Gold Award. That award is given to those who have spent 80 hours on a project meant to impact the community.
It started out with my Gold Award planning. I wanted to get a law passed banning declawing in Sarasota County, but I decided to start with just making a documentary to inform people about the issue, so then there's awareness about it. And then I just recently sent in a request for a proclamation. It did not get passed, but the commissioner really liked my initiative and how I was actually trying to get things done in the community.
Oh, I love this. Devin will show her documentary tomorrow afternoon at the Gulf Coast Event and Conference Center on Cattleman Road. That event is free and open to the public.
I just love seeing kids involved in any passionate project like that, regardless
I do too.
of the topic.
Get them started young. It's like this is the next generation of people that are going to be taking over and doing all those philanthropic things.
Yeah.
So get them started young.
She has a bright future, it appears. Way to go, Girl Scouts as well. Up next, latest in first alert traffic and weather, and 63 children have passed away from the flu this year. Most of them had one thing in common.
And these elementary school classmates are best friends now since the boy saved the little girl's life. We're going to show you their story and how he did it.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Serving part-time as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment to get an edge in the civilian world. Learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you at NationalGuard.com.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
Is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs. And you learned how to not ignore yours. I discovered how to make healthier meals, and I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC 7 to get breaking news, plus first alert, weather, and traffic focused on where you live. ABC 7, we're here for you. Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Love our viewer pictures. Here's one sent in from Colleen. This is Heron Creek. A beautiful sunset last night and a really crystal clear sky during sunset at Siesta Key. Paul Taylor sent in this beautiful shot of the setting sun lighting up the sky with its beautiful, brilliant colors. And out in Mayaca, Ron sent this photo in of a setting sun, probably shot out toward the east, I would think. Right now, we do have a little bit of visibility problems to the north of us. So far, so good around here. And really, the wind flow is not all that conducive to seeing sea fog being pushed on shore. Around these parts, though, the area of sea fog could expand in other ways and start to impact, especially northern parts of the viewing area. This is the Cortez Bridge webcam put into motion. You can see how it gets a little more hazy with time as we enter into the last few hours. You start to see a little bit more of a halo around some of the lights. An indication that there is plenty of moisture to work with. And if the winds had shifted just a little bit more, I think we really would have been socked in around here. 63 degrees in Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch coming in at 63, 64 in Sarasota. We are looking at 64 degrees in Venice, Inglewood coming in at 65. And as we head into the rest of the time here, things look okay. Okay, 64 degrees here in Sarasota, 64 degrees in our dew point. Combination of dew point and temperature exactly the same, so we get 100% relative humidity. And some calm winds out there. 10-mile visibility across the coastline is not a problem, but just as I said, you go a little further to the north, and we've got quarter-mile visibility or less all the way down into Pinellas County. And it wouldn't take much to get this area of fogginess, and on infrared satellite imagery, which takes really pictures of temperature, fog shows up as very dark colors. So you really have to look at your screen to see this. But there's our fog right out here, our sea fog. And it's not that far from areas like Anna Maria, Holmes Beach, Upper Longboat Key, Terracea. Still, if you look at the last few frames, it looks like it's kind of pushed back toward the water. That's because our winds are not in the right direction to push it closer to the coast. So we'll, of course, be monitoring that throughout the morning and sending you updates on our weather app as well as on Facebook pages and on air as well. West wind coming in at about 5 to 10 this afternoon, though. If we'd had that west wind this morning, we'd really be socked in. 2-foot seas, smooth conditions, should be beautiful boating weather right through the weekend. 81, our high temperature today, tomorrow, and on Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. A little bit of cloud to start the day, sunshine in the afternoon. And then as we head into next work week, look at there. Temperatures start to build into the mid-80s. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look out there at your first alert traffic. If you're starting off in Manatee County, those roads are looking pretty good so far. Starting to see a little bit of that buildup if you're heading into Bradenton. Now, of course, if you're heading into North Sarasota County, those roads are looking pretty good. You got a little bit of a blip right there on 301 heading southbound and another one on the corner of 780. Now, we do have one bit of construction to tell you about. I-75 northbound, the exit ramp to State Road 64. That one is closed right there. If that's part of your commute, you're going to want to find another way around that. Again, I-75 and 64. And then farther south, we're going to look at a little bit of a slowdown right there on Clark Avenue, starting to see some congestion in that area as well. And if you're heading farther south into Osprey or Nokomis or Venice in that area, those roads are looking pretty smooth. Just a little bit of a slowdown right there on 41, especially near the interchange right there on Murdoch. And if you're heading a little bit farther south, those roads are still looking pretty good this morning. Outside it is 5:51, and that is your first alert traffic. Well, it is no secret that this flu season has been a rough one, with dozens of hospitalizations and deaths reported all across the country. The CDC estimates that the flu vaccine is only about 36% effective against both A and B virus strains. But the Health and Human Services Secretary is reminding people that that shot can still help, and it's also not too late to get it.
An incredible story here of an 8-year-old boy who came to his classmate's rescue when she began to choke during their Valentine's Day party. 7-year-old girl says she swallowed her gummy bear when she began laughing. 8-year-old buddy didn't hesitate and gave her the Heimlich maneuver. The boy says he learned the technique from his father, who's an emergency room physician. Good to learn.
I love that. Yes,
oh,
yes.
It's so scary for that girl.
It is. And what a great bond that little boy and that little girl will always have after that story.
Maybe they'll start dating when they're old adults.
All right, that could be a great story someday at the wedding. All right. All right, well, we'll be back with the latest look at your headlines and one more look at your weekend forecast. It's a good one.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Drive a brand new 2018 Lincoln MKC for $279 per month or the Lincoln MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment. Every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
All this week, Marla Spence investigates the top 5 worst intersections on the Suncoast. Find out what's being done to fix these danger zones and what you can do to stay safe. All this week on ABC 7 News at 6 a.m.
Here are some of the top stories that we're following for you on the Suncoast today.
That 19-year-old charged in Wednesday's Broward County school shooting has been charged with 17 counts of murder. The sheriff says he confessed to the crimes. And one of the biggest events of the year is now underway. This is video from last year of Thunder by the Bay. It's a big biker fest based this year at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds on Fruitville Road.
All right, and starting today, a new way to get a bird's eye view of Manatee County. We're going to show you the new way to explore nature on the Suncoast in our 6 o'clock hour as well. Thanks for waking up with us this morning.
All that and John Scalzi's forecast next. Stay with us.